Welcome to the Country Fried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. The podcast that will connect you to resources regionally and nationwide to engage them in open, honest discussions so that we can inspire the growth that you need to chase the experience you want. So strap yourself in because here we go. Can you hear all right?
Yeah, I can hear all right. It's outside of the.
Oh. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Chasing Your Experience podcast. I'm your host, Sean Smith, and on the other line with me is the co-host, Sam, all the way from Colorado. How are you doing, Sam?
Oh, we're doing. It's been a summer.
Yeah, I figured it's about time for us to do a little summer update and, just kind of touch base and just get another episode out there in the catalog for to listen, so people can listen to us ramble a little bit more. So
Yeah, they seem to really enjoy it, so we may as well keep giving it to them, right?
just keep throwing it out there. Dude, I like this new program because it creates shorts and stuff, and it's been throwing out some bangers here recently. So
It seems to have been pretty efficient, working out well.
yeah, and it's working out pretty good for me. I kind of appreciate having it because it makes this a heck of a lot easier than what I've been doing.
Yeah, and I'm sure, we've already come so far so quick with what AI is already doing. It seems like it'll just keep getting better or scarier, depending on.
There somewhere right now, John Connor's shaking his head at all of us.
John Connor and Will Smith.
It's shaking their head at all of us right now. No, that's an interesting, that is an interesting statement because AI is kind of scary about what it's capable of doing. And, I don't know if like social media, though, is getting like overran by AI and a lot of like just fake posts. I'm not even talking about the funny fake videos we all know is fake, like the Bigfoot videos, which are hilarious. I love those things. But like just fake posts that AI, that someone's using AI to create, like, I'm trying to think of a good example of one. But, something like newsworthy, because now I got to actually look to make sure it's even, well, I had to do that to begin with. I'm not that person, but, a couple days ago, Hulk Hogan died. And then I had to actually really double check to make sure that was true and not like some fake post on social media.
Yeah, they're getting a little too good. The overlays of people's voices, podcasters, TV personalities, politicians. It's like we're gonna get to the point where you really don't know.
No, you won't
know.
know.
It's a little scary.
And that's scary. Like, so AI has been a good tool for me being, because I don't have a full production team. So it's really kind of helped me get through like editing episodes, getting those up and running. And the thing that would take me so long before is now so much easier. I still have to double check it because every now and again it doesn't get something right, or it doesn't, or just I don't like the cut that it did. So I got to fix something here and there. But for the most part, man, like but still it takes so much time off my plate that helps me generate a little bit more. So it is what it is. It's one of those tools, like it's like all tools. So like once you create something, you give it to the people, like it's down to the individual person to use it responsibly. And then unfortunately, it's when it's going to get abused is when all the problems are going to start happening. So,
and I'm sure we're well on our way there. But oh well, such is the way of the world.
Right. Well, at least on the civilian side of it, I'm pretty sure the government side, defense side, and other country sides are way more far advanced in their AI technology than what we are. That's available in the civilian market, which that's scary too. But that's not exactly the outdoor content people are here to listen to anyways.
We tend to end up there regardless.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Well, anyways, man, what's new? What's going on in Colorado?
A lot of smoke, a lot of fires, a lot of heat. Not so much going on in my trail camera world, which has been rather disappointing. 0 for 3 this year. I'm not sure what's going on, what happened. I'm sure one of them was operator error, but certainly not all 3 of them.
Right.
The first one, I replaced a camera that had been up all winter and the batteries had died. So I replaced it with another camera, brought the other one back down, and checked it before I left, made sure everything was set up on, come back to get it, no pictures. Set another camera up several miles from there in another area. Got 2 days worth of pictures. Nothing at night, which is strange. Usually you get a bug flying by or something that triggers it. Uh, it had been up a couple months and got 2 days of pictures, like I said, and all of a sudden it just quit taking pictures. So I'm wondering if someone had messed with it, potentially because it's stealth cam, and it seems like if you do pull the card or mess with a setting in the stealth cams, you have to turn them back off, turn them back on so they reset and readjust. And these
Mm.
are older stealth cams, so uh they work a little differently. I haven't had a new one in a while, but that's how these ones have tended to work for me is if I change date, setting, turn it off, turn it back on. And it just was odd to me. Get a couple pictures in daylight of just a robin flying around, and then all of a sudden, no pictures for 2 months, and weeds had grown 2 foot high. I think you catch those blowing in the wind, shadows shifting in the sun, you know, all the basic stuff that happens on your camera when it's out there. And none of that happened. So a little suspicious. And then today we went the 3 miles in to get camera number three, and I think an elk or a bear or something rubbed up against the side of the tree that it was on, popped the door open, and judging from the smaller bite marks, it looks like a squirrel was chewing in some areas and managed to pop out the SD card and break the bottom half of it. And I wasn't able to get anything off of that card.
Yeah, that's a shame because I'd like to at least like to see what was messing with the camera. And when you first started telling me you're having some issues with some cameras, I was thinking like, man, maybe you need to set up like a camera trap or something, like where you leave one that's obviously in the out in the open so people can see it, and then like hide one, like take like find a way to climb up a tree and point it back down so it's not as obvious, and see if you get a picture of somebody like messing with the camera or not. But um I don't know. Cameras on public land is a little rough, and there's a lot of varying opinions about cameras being on public land. So,
Well, and I've had, since I moved here, I've run cameras on public land. I don't
mhm,
have anywhere else to run them. I've
right.
not once had an issue. The first camera that I was talking about has been in a spot consistently for going on 3 years now. Unless somebody's following me, or let's create a conspiracy here. Onyx is giving waypoints to the Department of Wildlife, and they don't want me to have certain pictures of certain things that may be running around the woods.
There's a there's a Bigfoot out there, and they don't want you to know about it.
Well, I wasn't even thinking that deep into Bigfoot. They dumped a bunch of wolves. How many people do they want with pictures of wolves running around like chickens with their heads cut off on their cameras?
I mean, that's kind of the point they did it, is because people wanted to see wolves, right? So, I mean,
Hey,
that's kind of counterproductive, but who knows? Who knows in the world today?
but no, that's just all tinfoil hat stuff. But it's crazy. I've not once had an issue, and this year I'm 0 for 3 and pretty discouraged about it because there were some pretty big elk tracks going down the trail beside where I had camera three here. Man, I'm disappointed. I'm a little upset about it, but
Yeah,
nature happens. So
yeah, it does, and I don't know. That just seems like an awful lot of coincidence for like three different cameras to fail without there being like some type of outside of influence causing that.
yeah, and I could see if 1 out of 3 was, I think the first camera may have been me, and it's not like I was in a hurry. I thought I
Mhm.
checked the camera, waved the hand in front of it to get the indication light, and I must not have. I don't know. Camera 1 was probably on me. Camera two's up in the air. Camera three
Right.
was clearly wildlife interference.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some wall game innovations that just quit working, and I've also had some that are really finicky about the cards. Like, I would go and like clear a card on my computer, and I always did like what is it, the DOS MS FAT, or I forget what it is, because you don't want to do the X FAT. I think it's like the MS FAT or something like that that you do the erase for anything. It's like a smaller gigabyte card. So I would do that when I put them in the card in the some of those wild games, and they just wouldn't work. Like it's like, yeah, I don't like this card. And then there'd be some I'd set and just wouldn't have any pictures, and I know darn well something had been through there. Like I'm
Yeah,
it's like it wasn't even pictures of me when I walked up to check it.
yeah,
um because that's a dead giveaway. Something was going on with the camera if it didn't have any pictures of me on there. Because because I don't like hide from the camera. I'll walk right up to it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't try to hide behind it and try to be
That
all
way, you know
sneaky.
you're to the end of your reel there on your card. Like,
Yep.
there I am today. So we're
Yeah,
done.
I might even dance. So I might even do a little quick little dance or something just to make sure just to make sure I'm on there. So I
I want
know.
proof of that.
Good thing I don't have a lot that runs in video mode. I don't know. Maybe I should do that. Maybe that would be a good TikTok thing. Is
Well,
my big ass dancing in the woods,
a little extra content never hurt anybody.
right? So what else is new, man? Your archery season's coming up. How's the archery practice going?
Oh, it's not. We have been so busy with trying to sell the house and work and just her with school. There's been a lot going on this summer. Haven't got out to shoot as much as I hoped this year, but yeah, we'll get there. Season's almost a month away here, so
Yeah.
that's exciting. Got the deer tag and the elk tag for archery. We'll figure it out when we get there, I suppose. I picked the bow back up, and the few times I have shot, it's been all good, so it's enough
Mhm.
to instill some sort of confidence.
I mean, it's good to have. I mean, any practice is better than. I mean, obviously, I think anybody's going to tell you like, hey, try to practice as much as you can. And but realistically, how many guys out there, guys and gals out there, like the only time they see their bow or the is like maybe the day before season because they just get out of their case, shot it once, yep, still on, and they go out and they go out.
Yeah, man,
Um,
I've got an uncle, that guy, which up until recently he's got shoulder problems. I think he finally
mm,
made the switch to a crossbow, but
mm,
man, it seemed like every year archery season would be coming up. Me and the cousins would be shooting day in, day out, pick his bow up day before, right on target, go out a couple weeks, have a deer on the ground. So if it's working for you, I guess.
I have as long as it's working for you, But um, so what are you using? Let's dive in this a little bit more. So what are you using this year for your archery season?
So I still got the 2018 Bear Escape. A
Hmm.
couple years ago, I'd knocked it down to 60 pounds instead of 70. I was having some shoulder and elbow issues
Hmm.
with some buckling, so I thought it was time to knock the draw weight back. So that's what we're shooting as far as the bow. The arrows, I have some Eastons and some VAPs, and they're shooting identical side by side. I
Okay.
like the VAPs. I think I'm going to use those for hunting because they're a little more rigid. Spine seems a little stiffer.
Okay.
The Eastons seem a little softer than the VAPs.
Yeah.
And as far as broadhead, I'm still running the same iron wills because I've yet to throw one at anything.
I like iron will broadheads. I really do. I've used them for several years, and I've had a lot of success with them. And I was listening to somebody do a podcast the other day, and they were talking about the iron will wides. And I think you and I have talked about this before too. Like I've used wides in the past, like a wider of a fixed blade, and it was day six at the time. I used a wide, and I've noticed that there's definitely a flight characteristic difference there. Like they're a little bit more finicky to tune, and they're a little bit more finicky on if you have any torque, irregular torque or something during your shot, and in I mean, I've done well with the iron wills single with the wides, like here in the backyard. Like I've shot them really well, and I can get them to hit a balloon at 100 yards and stuff. So I mean, it's not like they're not good broadheads. It's just I had a doe the other last year, and I'm pretty sure I probably was torquing the bow a little bit more than I probably should have been when the position I was shooting. But I still to this day don't know where that arrow hit, but it definitely didn't hit where I was aiming. I can tell you that right now because just and now yeah, some of the torque issue and stuff, but it just comes back to the fact it's a wide broadhead. It's like an inch and a half, I think. So it's not like the widest of the wides out there,
Hmm,
but it's an inch and a half, and they're a little bit more finicky. The
okay.
regular iron wheels, dude. The whatever the inch and a quarter or inch or barely over an inch, the inch and 16th, whatever their cutting diameter is, those things fly like darts, and I really really like those. And I understand a lot of people like the larger cut, but I honestly think if you're going to go that route, I would just stick to the standard size. I
Yeah,
really would. Me
that
personally.
yeah, same. I've been shooting solid 150 grains, and
Hmm.
just their normal cutting diameter. Yeah, they
Hmm.
fly great.
So, I mean, I mean, granted, I mean, there's a lot. There's trust me, there are enough examples out there where people are going to be able to disagree with what I just said, and also have proof to show why. And I'm okay with that. But I just throwing out my opinion on that and what I've experienced with that. And it's not just the Iron Will wides; it's all the other one. It's the there's like I said, the day 6 wides too. I had a problem getting those to tune. Like I had irregular flight with those a lot, and I just couldn't get it. I'm like, yeah, I'll just go back to the regular size, and I've not had a problem one with it with that inch of 16th cut, right? So, I mean, I've had
Oh,
some really good blood trails with those, and I've also had some crappy ones, but I've also had some really crappy blood trails with a 2.5 inch mechanical too. So that's I do blood trails is not a good way to judge the performance of a broadhead at all. It's not. Um, so would you know what your total arrow weight is?
oh man, not off the top of my head. No.
You
I think I'm edging in on 500, but I think I'm closer to like 465,
yeah,
475.
yeah, that 150 will put you up there a little bit.
Yeah, and
Um,
it seemed to really help my arrow flight out a lot.
yeah.
It seems to drive a lot deeper,
Well,
even at 60 pounds.
yeah. But don't say that because there's going to be a lot of people going to go on here and they're going to start arguing. Need heavy arrow, BBD. Here's what I'm going to say. Like, there's no argument that a heavier arrow penetrates better. The end. Like, there's no argument to that. Like, the argument that I think most people can make is that when is it too much? And if you have an arrow that penetrates through the animal and it's 12 inches in the ground, you know, I think a lot of people are trying to find what is the bare minimum that they can get away with and still be efficient. Because a lot of people are putting emphasis on speed, but I will tell you, and I've done tests, and rather you want to, oh, it's a gel test, like I get that, but the problem is that was very consistent, and that all the heavier arrows penetrated better,
Well,
both up
another
close
thing that you
and
got to
distance.
look out for on those lighter setups too is deflection.
Yeah.
I ran into it when I lived back there with a shed buck that I'd shot in January. The shot was right behind the shoulder, and I
Hmm.
think as he buckled down, the shoulder blade actually pushed the arrow off a trajectory because I was shooting such a light, fast setup. It
Yeah.
should have what should have been a double lung broadside turned into a single lung and liver.
Hmm.
I think I don't remember exactly what arrow weight I was shooting, but it wasn't much, and I was slinging about 305, 306 feet per second. And yeah, I definitely saw the deflection in that hunt. And you were there with me to help find the deer. It certainly
Hmm.
appeared to be what happened.
Yeah. That's a very real thing. Like deflection does happen. You're probably seeing better arrow flight because of the forward to center, that FOC that you added with that 150. So there's a little bit more weight up front, which that tends to help. Another thing is with the heavier arrow, it tends to slow down a little bit more. Your bow fires it slower. That's just the give or take, right? And usually, like, I'm not saying you got to shoot like 150 foot per second arrow. Like that's not what I'm saying. But like if you start approaching that 300 and above speed, like it's a little bit more finicky to tune correctly, and you're going to see, and you may see some more erratic arrow flight. Now, it's not saying you can't be done. There's a lot of people that can do it, and I get that. But like if you hit that 280, somewhere between 250, 280 feet per second, you get really good arrow flight with that, like really good. And I couldn't tell you the last time I shot an arrow that went 300 feet per second. I don't think I've chronographed the ones I'm shooting right now, but I don't think I'm hitting 300. I'm pretty sure I'm.
Speaking of your arrow flight, what are you shooting this year? You still with the Matthews? Did you get anything new? Did you upgrade, downgrade?
You know, the Matthews V3X is still sitting back there, and I'm debating if I want to get another rest for it because right now I got the QAD. I've never had a problem with the QAD. It's the integrated one, the first version of it. It's sitting on there. I just haven't ran the release the actuator cable through my cables yet on the new strings I put on it. Because I really, really, really want to put a limb driven rest on there because that's what I'm using right now on the bow I've been shooting, which is the Elite Exalt. It's a 35-inch axle to axle bow, and I got a limb driven, and I kind of like it. And it's actually so all the things they say that are like the benefits to the limb driven is I have found to be true. And the biggest thing that I think is good with the limb driven is if you have to like retime your bow because of a little bit of stretch or something in the cables, it doesn't mess with your timing of your release because the release what the string that actuates the release isn't connected to the cables, it's connected to the limb, which yeah.
This is all new
So
technology to me. I'm with what works, I stick with. So,
right
I
no
haven't done a whole lot of research into some of the newer stuff out there. So that
right.
sounds really cool.
But it actually works out pretty well. And so that I can adjust my cables, I could twist the cable up real quick and not affect the timing. Like where if I did that with the QAD or another, cable driven rest, it might actually spin my whole actuator cable, the string around the cable itself and shorten it or create an issue with the timing. So I'd have to pull it out, reset it, which not a big deal. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, but it's just one more step. And the cable and the limb driven takes that away. Like I can mess with the cables all I want and it doesn't affect anything. So and
Yeah, it's
so
helpful. Saves a lot of extra time. And
it does. It does. So the Elite Exalt is what I've been shooting all summer, all year long with. Um, I think I still have a soft spot in my heart for that Matthews, and it's funny because it's I for the and I've said this before. I'll say it again. Like I for the longest time refused to buy a Matthews because everybody said you got to get a Matthews, get a Matthews, get a Matthews, um, and I just refused to do it because I didn't want to be that person. And then I finally shot that V3X, and I've shot him in the past. Like I have shot Matthews in the past. I just nothing. It just didn't speak to me. But I shot that V3X, and it really spoke to me. I'm like, I like this bow. I still like that bow. Like it's just for me. It's a sweet. It just fits.
so are
But
you looking at a pretty significant weight difference between the two, or are they holding about the same?
well, I've got a lot of weight stacked on that the Elite Exalt. Like I have a lot of weight on there. I think I've got 14 ounces of weight on top of whatever the bow weighs. And that bow is heavier than the V3X.
Okay, man.
Um, so I've got a lot of weight on there, but I mean, I'll tell you what, I mean, that thing holds like a rock. I've kind of treated it more like a target bow, kind of like it's like if it's meant to be a hybrid bow, so it's kind of a cross between a target and a hunting bow. You can do both with it,
Okay.
you know, and so I've kind of treated it that way. So I don't have like extremely long stabs on it. I've got like a 15-inch out the front and a 12 or is it 11? It's either 12 or 11 in the back. And then I've stacked weight. I think I got more weight. I got like 6 ounces of weight up front and then 8 out the back. And honestly, I think I could drop 2 ounces in the back and still be fine. But that thing, it points really well, holds really well, and shoots well. And that's all I can ask for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just keeping on target. That's the biggest part of the battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
Um, outside of that, the only other change I did this year was it was the HLRs, the Hunt Long Range from Victory, the new arrows this year. They're the lighter GPI, um, 204 or 5 millimeter shaft, and I have mixed feelings about these arrows, to be quite honest with you. Um, and I'll explain. And so when I'm shooting distance, like, yeah, I fairly do a good job. Every now and again, I have a hiccup and I might miss, or if I'm in the process of still trying to sight in and I'm trying to dial in at that very far distance to just to fine tune, it might be one that misses the target. And also, I have a old freaking not bag target, but like an old foam style stacked foam like block target that arrows are going through right now because it's just old. I need to replace it. And I have broken a lot of arrows. Like I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say how many arrows I've been through this year.
Now, do you think it's like a softer arrow compared to what they put out, or maybe just too rigid?
Well, here's what I think is the issue. And the issue is that it's a light GPI arrow. And for you to be able to get a 300 spine or 200 spine arrow in that light of a GPI, you've got to do something to make it a little bit more brittle. Like it's the name of the game. Like the sidewalls aren't very thick on it. It's just a brittle arrow compared to like the TKO. Like I shot the TKO a lot last year, and I tell you, so the difference between the two is the TKO is a little bit heavier of an arrow, not much heavier, but a little bit heavier. And if I more likely had to replace inserts in those arrows because the insert bent versus the arrow breaking. Like I have not had a single insert break in the HLR that did not, I mean, sorry, insert that's bent that did not break that arrow. And I was reading some reviews and somebody mentioned the same thing that I'm talking about. And this is when it hits my backstop, which is dirt. And I know there's a couple hard things in there. And I'm not even talking about when it hits something hard in there. Like if it hits dirt, I'm scared to pull the arrow out because I'm just got my fingers crossed it didn't break. And so I was reading another review somebody left on Lancaster, and Lancaster responded, "Well, dirt's kind of a last resort for a backstop," which may be a very true statement. I'm like, "Well, you should probably buy this product to be as a backstop for you." And I'm like,
Let's
"Listen,
sell you more stuff.
let's say some more stuff." At the end of the day, like I'm like, "Listen, I've shot arrows from Victory before, and not even like their SS, their stainless steel ones, right? That's got a stainless steel core." Um, I've shot other Victory arrows before, and they don't break like this.
Well, I
And
mean, you even think back to, we always like to go back to the days when we were coming up shooting and you were just sticking stuff on your bow from Walmart and flinging them at deer. I don't recall having an issue that we have now with, supposed to be more quality arrows
right,
breaking compared to these durable, stout arrows that we used to shoot. And maybe that's the thing, they were just thick, heavy walled arrows and we weren't looking as deep into it. But, if we're supposed to
right,
be getting a more quality product for a higher price, then where's the quality at when it comes to, you know, you go through a deer, you're going to hit dirt. Like, you're not
right,
going to have your backstop behind that deer or
right.
what have you. So, at what point does it become we got to start questioning the industry a little bit?
Now, I got a buddy that's shooting 5.0s too. That's the Easton version of the HLR because they're both light GPI arrows, and they're both 5 millimeters. And he's had the same issues of the arrows breaking. Like he's been through, and granted he's lost a couple, but he's like I've broken a lot of arrows. And I've been there to watch him break a couple arrows. I'm like that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
So
I was running into the same thing with a set of Eastons I bought last year,
mhm,
shooting through foam targets, and I don't know, nothing in that foam, but pull it out of the back, whatever was backed on that foam target. It's like more foam. What's
you
going
know
on here?
I will say this, like I don't think you're going to have an issue like hunting. Like I think it's going to perform well for an animal, but
Right.
it's what happens after that is going to be questionable.
Yeah, you're probably not
What
getting your arrow back. You're going to the
Right,
shop or wherever to get more.
right. Because they advertise the HLR as being a little bit more durable, and I don't know what they're comparing that to. I don't know if they're comparing it to the Rip XV, um, which is a very light arrow. It was kind of like the predecessor. Like I've heard someone else explain this that the HLRs is like if the TKO and the Rip XV had a baby, and then because it's a lighter grain arrow, but it's also a weave like the TKO. So
Hmm.
it might be a little bit more durable than the XV, but I don't think it matches the same durability as a TKO. So that's my opinion. Somebody please tell me I'm wrong. I don't at this point, I really don't care. Hello, everyone. This is Sean Smith of the Chasing Your Experience podcast. We interrupt this episode to let you in on some exciting news. If you're looking to upgrade your mock scrape game this year, then head over to scrapedoctor.com and fill your carts full of scrape magic, maybe a poison ivy or two, just a rope squared, or even just a rope. And then enter the code CountryFried10. That's Country Fried, spelled with a K, the number 10, and save yourself a little bit of money. And now, back to the pod. Because I'm not trying to shit on them. I'm not saying that they're a terrible arrow. They're not as durable as some of the other ones I've shot in the past. And I don't think that's getting out enough. I think there's not enough people talking about that. And maybe they're not experiencing the same thing. Maybe it's me. maybe, maybe it's just me. Um,
Yeah, could be
but
like
from
some of the serving on your strings that you've been getting. Not everybody's probably been experiencing that, but you've seemed to quite a
right.
bit lately.
So well, right now, knock on wood. knock on wood. I've not had that issue here recently. So I think I've found my forever home for string manufacturers right now. So
Good. Hopefully they hold up.
so anyways, that's the arrow. And broadhead wise, I am going to be sticking with the Sever hybrid 1.5s is what I'll be shooting this year. I still got iron wills here, but I've got the only 125 grain because that's what my Sever hybrids are is the 125. Um, the only iron will I have that's not a wide is a 150, which is not a big deal. Like I could recite that pretty quick, but I'm just gonna stick with the 125. And I might buy a set of regular single bevel, especially if I plan another trip to come out with you for elk. Um, get a set 125s for that. But you know, stick with the Severs and with the 1.5 hybrid. They've got two other versions now, which I kind of figured that was coming. They did their 2-inch in the hybrid now, and they did their 1.75 in a hybrid. So I think everybody saw that coming. That was what they were going to do. So, but I mean, that's about it. That's about the main changes I've been using. My arrow weight's right around 430. And that's with the like a 26 and a half carbon to carbon arrow, 300 spine. That's the HLR, which is like a somewhere close to 8 grains per inch. And then three AAE hybrids, 26 hybrids on the back. The AAE IP5 knock, and then it's got to fit those HORs. What I will say is nice about the HORs, they already come with a stainless steel insert or insert outsert. I love that thing. It's actually really sleek. I like it. It's 50 grains and then add the 125. So I got like 175 up front altogether with insert and everything. So that's one thing they did right with those arrows is they came with a they did other things right with those arrows. Don't get me wrong. Like I it sounds like I'm poo pooing on them. I mean, they fly really good, and I can with my Elite Exalt, I can actually dial my sight to 137 with them before I bottom out on the sight. So, and they shoot fairly like really accurately. They really do. Like they're a good shooting arrow. Just I would just wish they were a little bit more durable. If I had any complaint, that's my complaint. I just wish they were a little bit more durable.
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right. No, they shoot lights. I've shot them all season. Every 3D shoot I've shot, I have not had a single problem with them. I've not had one break in foam. Even if it was an odd impact, it didn't break on there, which I've seen the 5.0s on an odd impact break. And I'm like, So I don't know. I think we're just on the cusp of technology when it comes to arrows that maybe we're not just quite there yet. I don't know. I'm not a manufacturer. I don't get into that stuff, so don't take my word for it. Maybe I could be completely 100% wrong.
There's someone out there that knows way more than we do about it. So feel free to key in, let us know, point us in the right
Yeah.
direction. We're open to trying different arrows. I've been from the Maximas to the pile drivers to
Mhm.
this to that. So, my favorite arrow still sits at the Maxima. Maybe one of these days I'll get back to those. But
Well, speaking of day 6, I used to shoot day 6 arrows. You know who owns day 6 now? Remy Warren.
really,
Yeah, he bought him out.
no kidding.
Yep. So Remy Warren is now the owner of day 6, and
Hmm.
he's been shooting them for a while, and he talked about in his podcast. I'm not gonna like sit here and tell the whole story, but so yeah, he's the owner of it now. So I'm kind of interested to see which direction he goes with that. Since Brian, who started it, he's still working there. Like Remy's still utilizing him, but Remy's the owner. And I'm interested to see what direction they go with that company. Because their arrows have always been heavier, and I've shot them. I love you want to talk about a tank of an arrow? Like those are tank of an arrow. Those are tanks. Um, it's just I just started chasing a little bit lighter arrow and just went a different direction. And but they're still but good arrows. I liked them, but
Right on. Yeah, my podcast listening has been kind of out the window the last couple of years working closer to the house. So
yeah.
I got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
My day job, I do a lot of driving, so I get a chance to listen to all kinds of stuff, all
Remember
kinds of
those
stuff.
days.
So let's see here. What else is going on? Well, you see me send you some pictures of me trying to resurrect one of my elk targets.
Yeah, that looked exciting. And honestly, it looked like a little bit of a how would you put that? Maybe archaeology project.
Just so you guys know what I'm talking about. So I got one of those mini elk targets from Reinhardt, and I got a new insert for it. And with a 3D target, they use like a about half inch to 3/4 inch like plastic tubing that goes up through the body and in through the insert to hold it in so it doesn't fall out while you're shooting it. I could not get any one of those tubes out of it. Like I pulled and I just could not get them out. So I had to do some surgery to get this freaking thing apart. And as I'm digging, I'm pulling out like I'm pulling out like an insert that's got like a field tip on it. And I know where those are from, and I knew what the problem was. There was my fault. And then I found a couple that were stuck inside the tube. And I got like 4 or 5 in my hands. So I took a picture of it. I said, man, this looks like a public land bowl. trying to clean, trying to field dress a public land bowl with all the broadheads you'd find in it. But yeah, no, I finally got that done. So I've got a little mini 3D course here around the house that I actually was setting up today before we got on here.
Very nice. Looked
So
fun.
here's,
All the pictures you sent me, it looks like it'll be really fun. I keep hoping one of these days I'll be able to set one up if we ever move.
yeah, it's coming. You'll get there. You'll get there. I tell you what, the older I get, the more I start to really believe that things happen for a reason.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it doesn't happen, it'll be for a reason. But
Yeah,
we're getting to that point to where it ain't looking so hot.
and it's all right.
Market's really starting to eat shit out here, so which is
Yeah,
fine. I get it. I mean, everything's got to come to a boiling point at some point. And I think
right.
that this area is finally hitting the cusp of it.
Anyways, what else is new? You got
Um, what is new? Not a whole lot. Just working a ton, trying to get things sorted out that direction. Yeah, that's been really about it. Just a lot of work lately. Some night shift stuff there a couple days ago. Just really looking forward to archery season to kick in and really get back out there. I drug a treadmill over from the neighbor's house the other day that they were giving away, so maybe cut her back a little bit.
I was watching some other stuff in the past, and like, yeah, or some of our older photos and stuff. Like, yeah, it looks like I've gained a little bit of weight.
It happens, and man, it's weird how quick it happens. I've
Yeah,
only been out of the gym just over a year now since I had my ankle injury, and been kind of slow to getting back to it. And I'm really starting to notice it running around the hills here. And it's been so damn hot this summer already that just getting in the hills itself to get that exercise has been hard.
yeah. It's been miserably hot here. Um, Speaking of that, I was listening to somebody from Canada talk, and they're complaining about the heat. They said it's 75. I'm like, I wish it was 75 here.
Same.
Uh,
It was 80 the other day. I'm like, it's great out.
right. It's not so much the heat, like, because we're in the 80s. Like, it's not like it's just the humidity that we get here in Ohio, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, with that humidity comes some pretty strong downpour storms when they come through, like scary downpours.
We'll take all the rain that anyone can
Mm,
send us because it's drier than a popcorn fart. And as far as precipitation down here in the lower country, it just has been, you may as well chalk it up to zero since the beginning of June almost.
yeah,
We were camping a couple weeks ago. Yeah, our first and only camping trip. If that tells you how busy we've been, we're usually out 4 or 5 times by now. Uh, but we were out camping and had found out that a fire had sparked about 12 miles away, give or take, uh, down the road from where we were camping. We camped a couple nights, and by Saturday afternoon, about 3:30, the smoke had sucked in so bad. Weather conditions were going to be changing, so we got out of there, which we ended up not being as close. But had we stayed a little bit longer, we would have been because that fire blew up. I think it's almost 18,000, if it's not 18,000 acres by now. Yeah. And then we've got several other fires going on here, not to mention everywhere else. So
yeah,
precipitation without lightning is welcome.
right. Yeah, the lightning sparks those, can spark those fires.
Yeah. That's what had sparked the ones near us where when we were camping was dry lightning
Mhm.
a little bit. I think it was the day before we got there. So
Hmm.
yeah, conditions have been favorable for fire. So keep your head on a swivel, make sure your chains are tied up, and don't go flicking cigarettes out the window.
Yeah, that's been Smokey the Bear campaign for a long time. No cigarettes out the window, especially when it's dry out there. And as dry
Yeah.
as it's been, like we've actually been getting like we get like a dry spell, but
Mhm.
not like it was last year. Last year was miserably dry, but this year, like we'll get a dry spell, and all of a sudden, like it just downpours. So like the crops seem to be doing well. My neighbor has a garden that is like unreal, right? Just unreal.
Good.
Uh it's amazing. And of course our grass just keeps growing and growing and growing. I'm like, would you just stop? I would like to like not have to mow all the time.
See, I would like to not have to put water on the yard to keep it green.
I'll trade you for a little bit.
Maybe I just need to till it up and plant some sage, some greasewood, and rabbit
There you go.
brush, make it look like
There,
natural habitat and really piss the neighbors off. I'm always on my boss, they're all about getting their grass green and so pristine looking. I'm like, if it wanted to grow here, it would, right?
yeah, you guys kind of do live in kind of a little arid location of Colorado, so
Yep. But I'll take the 0% humidity if it's going to be 100 degrees.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. The humidity just adds a whole nother level of stupidity to the heat.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got any game plan or target bucks you've been seeing on trail cameras this year and getting excited for season to finally roll
maybe,
in?
maybe, maybe. There's the one from last year is still there and still coming back. Um,
Good.
he's about as a patternable as he's always been. So we'll see how that goes. What happens towards season? There's a couple other things I want to get done out there, which is going to wait till August for me to get out there and get some stuff done. Clover pot or the clover fields that the neighbor guy has planted is still there and doing well. So there's so much food out there. That's the issue, right? It's
They
hard
can
to
be
pinpoint.
picky.
They can go whichever direction they want. They're going to run into food within, which is a good thing for their growth and their development, but also like trying to pattern them. Good luck. they, if they don't want to go that way, they're going to go another way, and they can get the food with basically it's throw a dart, and wherever that dart lands, there's food there. I guarantee it,
Oh,
and that's
for
what
sure. Yeah.
that's what they can do. Um, but yeah, no, we've got a couple of decent bucks that are showing up at a couple of the locations. That's as far as I'm getting into that, but the big
Good.
one is still there. And
Good. And he's a year smarter. So,
yep, 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 he is. But we'll see. I This year I started putting my cameras up in the tree. So I'll take a climbing stick with me and I'll go up about one stick height to get up
mm,
and then put the camera up there. I'm yet to have a deer look at the camera. Like, before, like I'll have cameras down, they'll look at the camera and or like, hey, what's that? And you could tell in the photo that that's exactly what they're doing.
mm,
But I've got none of that this year.
good.
So
That might be a little bit of a game changer, putting scent over their heads opposed to ground level with them.
yeah. And I don't know exactly what it is. Like, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of different opinions, and maybe it's a combination of all of them. But I don't know if they can hear the camera when it goes off because some of them do make a click when they go off.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see the infrared when it flashes because there's got to be something that they're picking up on.
Well,
And
I can tell you, Cal Elk seemed to always know where my camera is. This strap has been chewed to death from them, and that was the first year I put this camera up, so it's just bit gnawed on. So I
mhm.
don't think scent was an issue with those ladies, but they knew it was there.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I'm kind of interested to find out what happened to that camera of yours that you found open. Like, that's just odd.
Yeah, but popping the lid open and being where it was, we didn't run into anyone there last year. I can't
Mhm.
foresee anyone really being back in there that much, at least exactly where we were. It
Right.
took us long enough to figure that little hole out, but You
Hmm.
can definitely see the abrasions and markings on the camera. There was something chewing around, and especially
Some
down where the SD card slot comes in there.
some critter was chewing on it.
Hmm. And I always run into it. Cows are always rubbing on a tree where cattle or cow elk are always
Hmm.
rubbing on a tree where I have a camera. There's no cattle up there, so there's a good chance it was an elk just scratching on the tree or curious about the camera and managed to get her free.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It is what it
That
is, part
is
of the game. I
unfortunate.
was mad enough about the first two, but at least this one, there's some physical evidence that it wasn't, at least from
Human.
what I could tell, a person, unless
Yeah,
they're really good at making it look like an animal. But
right.
um, we'll never know what happened.
Yeah, it's what it is. What so I'll probably be hunting opening. I don't know. Why I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to be out there opening day. I'm trying to think. I think work has something scheduled for us on opening day, which I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out for sure. What about you?
Not gonna be able to hunt opening day. It falls on a Tuesday this year. Labor Day,
Mm,
always a Monday, but the first, you know, September 1st this
yeah.
year. So that'll cut out a little bit for me. I'll try and get out the first weekend, and with that deer tag, I'll probably get a
Mhm.
lot of shit, but I'm probably gonna try and shoot a doe. It's an either sex tag, so get mad all you want.
Yeah, there's a different culture out west about when it comes to does and stuff. So,
Well,
mm,
I go on drives, I do a lot of sitting and watching, and
mhm,
I the buck to doe ratio just doesn't add up to me, so I'm not gonna feel
mhm,
bad about taking one off the landscape, having meat in the freezer. I got a buck a couple years ago.
mhm.
Uh, I want to take advantage of my tag. Now, if a buck does come in front, I'll definitely take it over the doe. But it seems to be a lot of places that I am. There's a fair amount of doe activity compared to bucks.
Gotcha.
I will not have any problem punching a tag. I've only had one deer tag since we moved here. I want tags filled. And so I've only
Sure.
filled one tag since I've been here.
Yeah, we were close a couple times to fill. Well, maybe not. We've been close a couple times.
As far as elk, I think I'm going to be able to take off. We'll see. I have it on the calendar right now, but unless my boss changes his mind, I should be able to get what should be the best week of rut off. And the moon phase is lining up really good for that week too. So
Good.
we'll see.
Well, I wish you luck, man. Hopefully you can make it happen. I'm looking forward to seeing photos.
Thanks.
This is a good year for you to focus on yourself because nobody else is going out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just you.
It's a little exciting. Don't think, I know the first elk tag I had was to myself, but I was hunting with a couple other guys and
Mhm,
he had a buddy in from out of town, so it was a little bit of trying to get him filled up and moved on. So
mhm.
this will be probably my first true solo hunt, and I'm excited to see what happens because get in them every year with or without people, so
Yeah.
it's got to happen.
It's gonna happen eventually. The start. I mean, but elk hunting is one of those things. Like everything has to align perfectly, especially with a bow. Like there's so many things you have to get right, and a lot of it is just sometimes it's just luck. Like you could do everything right, but in our situation, like how many times did the wind change direction on us? Like, in we were pushing that, and by pushing, we were kind of blind calling through that one section. We had a bull that was in there because he ended up bark chuckling at us, and but the wind shifted and started blowing exactly where he was. I'm like, there's just so many things that you have to get that just has to go right um, to be successful.
Yep, I
And
think a big thing I'm going to try and focus on this year is just slowing down. I move a little swifter than I probably should through some things, and so I think maybe this year it's just going to be taking my time and
yeah,
setting up and waiting and taking my time. So uh, I think that's going to be a big change for some of my strategy.
I would be interested in bringing a saddle out there. And there's a couple spots you and I have sat before not last year, but the year before, that I think if you got in there with a saddle, now you're going to commit to like just sitting there all day, like all day for until either it happens or it doesn't happen.
That or
Um,
sleep in your saddle.
right. And there's a small part of me that just wants to try it to see what would happen because, we found a couple of good water holes and a couple of good wallows and, a good bench that they obviously were bedding in or coming to bed. Um, that you got in there, just got up in a tree and just waited. I y- I bet you it would probably work.
Yeah,
It
I
would.
don't see it hurting at all.
It was just the only problem is that you're gonna have to commit to that, and you're gonna have a little bit of luck when you're side that they're on that side of the mountain that day, or the day that it happens, or that time when you're hunting.
Well, and especially on that side where we were with, another situation of swirling winds, you're always
And
going to have that, especially the way that mountain rolls over benches and comes back over.
mhm, yeah,
Um, but no, I definitely see it possible. I've even thought about trying to haul the blind up and set it up in some spots, and try and make it a couple days in the blind without, messing anything up.
well, if you're talking about the spot I'm talking about, you're a bigger man than me because I would not take a blind up there. It's not happening. I
Oh, this
barely
would
get.
be this would be a little planning ahead of time, haul it in, hang it up in a tree somewhere, and then go from there once we're ready to hunt.
I could barely get myself up there, let alone let alone try to take a blind in there. Like holy blowdowns, man. That was rough.
And it's just getting worse, all those trees
Yeah,
from that fire in 2018, they're finally starting to rot through and the wind's pushing them all down, but the elk are in there.
they are. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't mind going back up there again if I come back out. I wouldn't mind either place to be honest with you, because as we got into them, and there's a small part of me I'm like, I probably could have like went back to the other spot, last year. But I'm like, man, I'm so tired. I don't know if I want to climb up that mountain or not. Like,
Man,
you go up there by myself.
it's an ass kicker. It'll it'll suck it out of you. It's hard to
Hmm.
keep that positive mindset, especially in that kind of terrain, and
Right.
just getting your ass kicked by the elk day in and day out. So,
Yeah, and I can't imagine that trail getting any better.
nope, I've done
Because
it
that was.
twice. I've done it twice this year already. It's just exposing more boulders. I got the four wheeler and I was all excited, like, oh, this will be such a great tool for me to get myself up there, have
Mhm.
a little extra wind by the time I'm to the top. But man, it's just making the boulders bigger and some of
Mhm.
those embankments steeper. I don't think I could get that little 420 up there confidently.
Right.
They're probably someone more experienced on a quad than I am out there, but I ain't doing it. And I can probably walk it faster than someone can do it on a quad.
Right. But here's my thing, like, it's not the up that I think that would scare me as much, it's the coming back down. That would scare me the most. I don't know, it's just something about gravity and coming down that bothers me. The up, I'm like, I can control up for the most part, but down, down not so much.
Yeah. Then you get a
So,
nice greasy rainstorm on top of it.
oh, yeah. That's what I'm thinking because when I was there last year, like we had some rain come through, and that was our part I was thinking about. Like, do I really want to go up there? Because it's been raining, and I don't know how that trail's going to be. And it's like it's slick, like it was slick there where we were, but it wasn't nowhere near the elevation gain that trail would have been, because that's straight up. And it was 3.5 miles and about 2,000 feet of elevation gain all on that stretch. Like, it's like, yeah.
Intimidating.
It is. It is, especially if you come from Ohio and go out there. It's very intimidating. Like you're lucky if you see 200 feet of elevation gain in a hike, let
Yeah.
alone 2,000 feet.
But it's definitely a good one to get in shape on if you're by it.
Yeah.
I know
So,
we first moved here, I did that trail about every other weekend, and then I'd do another 6 or so miles while I was up there, give or take.
mm,
So I was doing anywhere from 12, 14 miles a day, and I'd go up twice a week, every other weekend. I managed to drop 30 pounds pretty quick. I just
yeah.
haven't had the time for it this year, really.
Right.
But nope, nothing else too exciting in this neck of the woods. Just hoping we get some rain and the fires settle down and we have a good elk season. But if you're hunting them out here this year and you're in Western Colorado, find the water. they're going to be
Yeah.
there because there's not a whole lot around.
If I was you, I'd go check that one spot you and I found to see if there's anything up there, because
Hmm.
that was a pretty good little spot.
Yeah.
And there was a good lake up there too, like a small. When I say lake, it's actually more of a pond. But uh, but anyways, I think I'm running out of things to talk about. So
Right there
season
with you.
season season's not too far out. I just want to get out there and kind of talk a little bit about what we're going into season with, and any major changes. But nope,
Well,
I think that's what's going to be.
the biggest thing that I'm going into is with hopes and dreams. So,
I think that's what everyone goes in with at the beginning, is hopes and dreams and aspirations. And then, if it works out for you the first couple of weeks, it was amazing. If you're dragging on into December, and well, here in December and on, you're like, man, this has been it's been very disappointing.
it's a slog even getting into the late season tag the wife likes to get. So,
Yeah.
oh, that's an exciting thing. I forgot she's got a nice third season deer tag, so we should
Nice.
be into ruddy mule deer by then.
Nice.
Hopefully, I think this will be her 11th year hunting. Hopefully, finally get her a deer on the ground, and with good luck, maybe an elk when
Fingers are
her
crossed.
late season comes around.
Fingers are crossed.
So, thank you. We're uh, we're hopeful
It's got to happen sometime, man. It's got to happen.
always. Yeah,
It's got to
but
happen.
but no lack of trying.
Yeah, no, you guys have put a lot of effort into it, and I get that.
But it's
And
definitely a different ball game, coming out here, having very little experience with the terrain, very little experience with the different species. And so it's another learning curve to jump on. And I talked to one of the guys I work with. He grew up on the Front Range and had generational knowledge of where deer and elk were back there. And he
mm-hmm,
kills deer out here every time he gets a tag, which is good. But since he's moved, he hasn't killed a single elk. So, he doesn't have that generational knowledge that he
yeah,
had on the Front Range. He said he went, I can't remember, 15 or so years straight killing elk.
mm-hmm,
So, you move and just not even that far over the hill, and
yeah.
they act different and they do different things.
Well, the land mass is just so vast out there. It's not like hunting the small parcels back here east. Like, it's, and plus also the game, we've got millions of deer versus like your hundreds of thousands of elk. Like, there's a lot more. So it's a different experience for sure. But and that's the thing. Like, I've also heard somebody talk about that. Like, there's some guys that'll bounce back and forth between different units every year. And I'm like, you're probably better off hunting the same unit multiple times. So you get that, but you just gonna talk about that generational wealth, or knowledge, or at least that knowledge base, the historic knowledge as you built there. Eventually you'll be successful there because you're going to know kind of general idea what they're going to be doing. So,
Or so you think, and then they change it.
and that's that's what they do. And as the wolf populations grow, they're going to change again. So,
Yep. But it'll be interesting. I'm excited for this year.
mhm.
Can't wait, just like every year. And then once that's over, get into some duck season. Yeah.
Nope, I'm good on that. My Ohio Sam, he's a duck hunter, and he's like, you should come. I'm like, no, I'm all right.
You don't
Not
even have
again.
to go. You got a pond in your yard that you could really
I know,
upset your
right?
wife about.
Nothing against it. I just don't want to do it. Kind of like bear hunting. Like, I have nothing against it, and I probably would try it if I knew somebody who did it, and I could try the meat and see if I
Well,
liked it or not.
well, and
But
just knowing hunting's already a fairly expensive endeavor, and how you
mm,
dive headfirst into a lot of things hunting. I could see duck hunting being one of those things.
yeah, so I'm
And
just better off avoiding it. Well, man, I think it's about time just to go ahead and close this one out. What do you think?
works for me, brother.
All right. Any last thoughts, words, comments that we need to get out there? We didn't get out.
To everyone out going out this year, stay safe. Good luck. Share your stories with us. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, folks, man, we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us talk for about the last hour as we kind of just do a little midsummer update and get some equipment ideas out there. And hopefully we don't rock the boat too much with my comments on the new arrows that are out there. But hey, maybe that's part of the game. Who knows? But If you get the chance, please leave us a review on the podcast platform you find us on, and make sure you follow and share the show with all your friends, especially if you like it. If you don't like it, we don't care. Leave a comment. Either way, it helps out. We also hope you guys are out there practicing, getting your archery game dialed in. Don't be that person that waits till the very last minute to pull your bow out and realize something's wrong with it and take it to a bow shop and expect them to fix it that day, because it ain't going to happen. So at least get the bow out, look at it, and see what's going on to make sure there's nothing you need fixed. So this is your final warning, because the seasons are about a month away for most people. And we do wish you guys and gals a lot of luck if you're going out to go out and capture that experience that you're chasing. And look forward to hearing those stories if you want to share those with us. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, or not Facebook, because no one really checks our Facebook page. It's not me. It's definitely not me. I don't do it. So check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Hopefully we'll have some good videos for you this year. I'm still debating on how I want to do that, but we'll see. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, until our experiences cross paths again, may you have the courage to fail, but yet the humility to learn. And as always, we hope you stay safe out there, and God bless you. Thank you for listening to the Country Fried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. Before you go, don't forget to leave us a review and follow the show on the podcast platform of your choice. Are you hungry for more Country Fried Outdoors? Then follow us on Instagram at Country Fried Outdoors, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Country Fried Outdoor Productions.